Hello everyone out there in the Fish Fam community. Thank you for coming to join tonight's episode, today's live stream at FishEZ. What you're looking at right now is a newly set of fry that have just become free swimming. If you think these are rams, you are mistaken. Yeah, we're going to be talking about more than just the rams here today, although we're going to also take a look at them. Hello everyone. Hi Joe. Thank you for joining, and Sandy, of course. Appreciate it so much. These are actually angelfish. So we're looking at angelfish that are just about a couple of days free swimming, and they're in this breeder box. Looks like we got a good number of them, and they're really doing well. So thank you for your question, Josh. We'll look at that and I will answer that in what I can. So it's FishEZ time, and we're also looking at this particular brood. These are also angelfish. And I don't know if you can see, but they're not even free swimming yet, but they're just starting to take off. You know what I mean by take off? They're kind of like, you can see them hovering at the bottom. They're just kind of like thinking they're going to take off. Oh, wait a minute, here's some in the corner. They're starting to do runners up to the corner, so it looks like they're just really ready. So I've started to put a little bit of baby brine shrimp in this, because different than the rams, angelfish are bigger by the time they finish their yolk sacs, and part of the reason for that is simply because they are in the yolk sac stage much longer. In fact, these hatch and they go free swimming. It takes almost well over a week from the time the eggs are laid, well over a week, maybe 10 days before you got free swimming fry. And yet the rams, 3 days hatch, 3 days free swimming, and they're still very small. So we've also got some other angelfish broods here. Here's a sample of what happens when they come in to a jar. I put them in this jar. This is a very tall jar. It's an open jar, and I will put the eggs with the, usually they're laid on a slate, a tile slate. And what you're looking at here are individuals who have come off the slate. These are just wigglers, so they're not even going to be free swimming for a few more days. And lastly, let's look at this particular brood of angelfish fry. These angelfish came in and they are now doing super well, but I want to talk today about something that we can do in order to clean this tank up. So as you can see, it looks pretty murky, and part of the problem is, of course, you know, they had methylene blue in the water at the time to keep the fungus down, but I flushed that out, and I'm going to show you how I flush things out. And when you're dealing with fry in large numbers like this, it's important to continually do this process, especially at such a young age and before you're able to take the fry out and put them in larger tanks. So we're going to take a good look at that today. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be only going until 5 o'clock. Malik will be having his live stream following this one, and I wanted to catch up on a few things. So looking at these fry tanks, we're going to get right into it, and I also have the surprise new fish in the fish room to show you. I'm anxious to show you what they are and to kind of talk about that. Thank you everyone for joining. It looks like we have Sketty Nona and of course Stubbs Aquatics. Welcome. Thank you for joining, of course, as always. Fishy Mike has picked himself up a pair of angelfish, pearl scale sunsets. Oh, very nice. Yeah, very nice. That is a nice, beautiful, and I hope you're able to get. You have a pair. Are they a bonded pair or proven pair, or are they just two of them? And it's always good to know if you've got some proof in there. John Morgan, thank you for joining today. Thank you, everybody. You know, it's just a big thank you for all you fish fam out there. I want to say it's never possible to do this without the encouragement from others. This particular week, I also had the chance to use this device here, and I'm going to take some time to look at it and share it with you, my results. And this is a keeper, I tell you. I got the idea from, of course, TM Aquatics. Tom over there at TM Aquatics had shown me how on his streams how he uses this for cory eggs. So I had a situation where there were some Pleco eggs kicked out of the cave, and I used it, and I was well pleased with the output. There was actually 2 occasions, one with eggs that got kicked out, and I also found, I'll show you, this is what happened. I had, in this cave, there was a ancestral Pleco, and he had a batch of eggs in there. And then I'm just cleaning the other day, and underneath here, well underneath, is a huge clutch of eggs, all by themselves, exposed, not in a cave, of ancestral bushy-nosed Pleco eggs. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't even see them there. In fact, I wouldn't have even looked there if I just didn't, for happenstance, see them. So what do? So I took them out. I took them out of the filter bottom, and I put them in this thing. And it really worked out nice. The eggs sat there for 3 days, and most all of them hatched. 2 of them, and this is a self-contained item. Let me back up a little bit and demonstrate kind of what it's all about. I'm going to put my phone down onto a stand so you can kind of follow me as to how this thing works. Now this is, I'm going to try to speak up because I know it's harder to follow me when I'm not as close to the mic, but let me see if I can do that. I'm going to do my best anyway. Let's see, I need to get up. I hope the phone doesn't fall. If it falls, my apologies to all you. So this is the device here. I'm going to show you. This is the device, the ZET65 Shrimp and Fish Incubator Egg Tumbler. Now they come in 3 sizes, and the 3 sizes make it a little depth. I mean, as far as their diameter around and the height. I really want to get the smaller one, but they're sold out everywhere. I'm going to get the smallest possible one, because I found that it fits well in this tank here, the smallest one, because this one just doesn't quite fit. So I looked at the measurements and saw they make a shorter one about the same diameter, and it has an E on the front, and I'm going to try to get my hands on one of those, because then I can use it inside one of these 2.5 gallons, so it'd be really nice. But the idea is this fits all the way inside the tank, and so I took the eggs from the bottom and I put them down in here, and you put this lid on and it seals around. Now the air is cycling water by causing the water to go downward through the sponge, and then it goes down into the bottom of this tumbler, and so you have this slight flow. It's like blowing water down. Then of course it pushes the eggs up along the sides. But of course when you got a blowing water, and it's not hard blow, it's just the kind of blowing water that you would have if you, well, no different than when we do the lift tube. So it's like using a lift tube. And then the water comes back out the exterior and goes through a screen. There's a screen there, and then up this chamber and out back into the tank. Wow. So it's super well designed. I say super well designed because I'm going to give you one example of why this device, German made, is so much better than anything you can buy out there. Simple. Suction cups. The suction cups on this thing are real suction cups that really work. I bought so many suction cups. You can buy them super cheap for dividers, for all kinds of things. So you get them from China, and I don't think the Chinese people know what a suction cup is supposed to do, because obviously they'll work for about a few minutes, and then after that the suction cups don't work, and they just go flat. And I'm thinking to myself, it's a suction cup. It's supposed to hold up. But you can tell the rubber is thicker on these. Somebody already did something about these designs. So in Germany, they've got this, pretty much down. So you can suction cup. You put this to the wall of the tank. You put this in. You put your eggs inside, and you blow. Now, what I had learned from Tom was he did this and put this inside a 10-gallon with the methylene blue inside the 10-gallon. And then he just removed this. When they hatched, he removed it from that tank. So he was using clean water from a 10-gallon to do it, and to prevent cory eggs from fungusing. And so I saw that, and I can see a lot of good uses for this in the fish room. So from time to time when things happen like this, you find eggs just lying around. I left the other eggs with the dad until they got large enough. And I don't think they're actually from the same female. I actually think these ancestress fish that I had are actually from others. I'm going to show you the fry now. It's been a week, so as you can see, they're now in a breeder box because I want to start feeding them. You don't feed them in that tumbler. There's no way to really, service it in that way. But as you can see, I've got a little batch of albino and normal colored, long-finned, bushy-nosed Plecos. What I have found is that you always get some short-finned in the group, but I have, let's see, a good number of albinos here, and I'm trying to breed more and more of the albinos because they command a better price, and they're a nicer looking fish in the long-finned form. They're just like awesome. I'll give you a shot of him when we get around to the 30-gallon over there. While I'm right here, I just want to show you, I have someone coming to pick up this pair. What a gorgeous pair, I tell you. I'm not sure why I'm selling them, but I just know I have quite a few black rams going right now. But this boy, he's got I don't know, his fins keep growing. It's just really nice. But he's a good dad, and he's also got a female that looks like she's ready to go down on eggs again, even though they have their fry from the previous batch still in here. They're camera shy. They all zipped to the back, didn't they? You can see them in there, but look at the female. If you look at her egg tube, you'll see that it's starting to protrude again, and her sides are a little fluffed out. So she's definitely ready. Right there, you see the tube coming out, and so knowing this, in a few days, what I would normally do if I wasn't selling them today, I would just take this pair out, and I would take this pair out and put them in their own tank and get them away from the babies, because right now their protective nature to take care of these fry is just tremendous. It's a great pair. So this will be a good start for the watch. He's watching the live streams, and so I don't know. I know he's not connected today, but he normally is. He's probably on his way driving here. It's going to take a while to get over here. So right after the live stream, he's coming to pick these up. But I have enough black rams to do something in here. So as you can see here, another pair up here. There's another beautiful pair right here. This is the pair I'm really hoping to get something out of. This female laid only once before, but she had only infertile eggs. So I'm anxious to see with a different male if we have the same infertility problem, or if it was the male that I had her with. At any rate, bottom line is, I've just got to cut down a little bit, but I have so many fry that I'm going to be selecting from those fry some of the future breeders, and that will be the best. And of course, the electric blues were right here. Let's take a look at the tiger barbs from last week, the little tiny tiger barbs. Let me see if you can see any of them. Oh, there's one in the back right there. See, it already got a stripe. Look at that little thing. I love to see. And I've counted about 5, 6, so maybe I've got a dozen or so in here. In this 2.5 gallon. This was the experiment we just threw in. We just threw in a pair in this device here. This was with the bottom. This just open. I just set this inside this tank, a 2.5 gallon. I set this inside. Put a pair in here with some Java moss, and poof. 2 days later, pulled out the parents, and now I'm looking at fry. So they're eating baby brine shrimp now. Let's see if I can catch them. There's one. Yeah, there's one in the back. But they do just kind of parade around. It's kind of hard to get the fry when you want them. They like to. Well, when you're such a small fish, you got to do something, right? Okay, so moving right along, getting back to the device here. I was really pleased using this. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to jump straight into our because I don't have a lot of time today, so we're going to get real busy. I'm going to show you how to change water for this tank right here. This is a 2.5 gallon. You see it's kind of murky, and you saw all those angelfish in it, right? So what we're going to do is I am going to show you that what I did was just simply put a overflow device. This is just sitting here on the edge. Now it has a flow. I connected this tube. It already had this squeeze tube thing. I just use it as a connector piece, but it does flow out. And what I'm going to do is leave this hanging on the side of the tank, and I just leave it there. So during the day, I might come in and I might just take I see some globs of uneaten baby brine shrimp, and I might just use some of this out of the bottom. Usually I do that first, but right now it's kind of, the fish are all over the place. So what I need to do is not so much worry about the decaying stuff at the bottom. I can get that out when I can get that out. That's usually when I walk by and I see all the fish are back in the corner and they're not near the, I'll grab my thing and suck it out. Makes it so much easier because you inevitably get a fry or two and you don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply put water above. So I'm going to just put water. I have a bucket of water here. And I'm going to take this water. I have a bucket of water here, and I'm just going to put it above. Poof. Now that bucket can stay there, full of water, but I happen to just have it in the sink this time. Now I'm taking a device. This is a simple tube with a valve for shutting on and off. And I use an air stone. And the air stone does two purposes. First, it prevents anything from going in, maybe something, acts like a filter in a sense, but it also acts like a weight. And I want it to go to the bottom of the bucket. So I put that in, and let it go to the bottom of the bucket. Right? So once it's there on the bottom of the bucket, I need to hold this, so I just grab a clamp. I'm just going to hold that right there at the filter. And this is my my tubing. And I'm just going to open up the clamp. Let's see, yeah, here it comes. I see water starting to flow. See if I can get full flow. Get the air gone. You see water is tumbling out now. Okay, so then that's all I do. Cover it and put it in. So I just now started the process, and I'm just going to let it flow. So I'm going to do a whole bucket. I can change, this is, I don't know how many gallons this bucket is, but I don't have to be limited by how much water is in the bucket, because when it goes down to the bottom, I can just refill the bucket with my conditioned water from over the other side of the room. And I can just refill it and put another 2.5 gallons. So we can give, I'm going to give right now a 100% water change. 100%. I'm going to change 100% by just allowing 2.5 gallons, 3 gallons to just go right through, straight through. And it's slow enough going through a hose that I'm not shocking the fish whatsoever. In fact, the temperature, even if this didn't have a heater in it, the temperature, this 25 watt, I have a 25 watt heater, is sufficient to keep the temperature at a certain level inside here, even with colder water coming in, it will keep the overall temperature going. And I have an air stone there too to keep it well circulated, so it's well mixed. So mixing is important. Now, that is how I take care of this issue. This one, I don't know, I remember if you can see this at the top. This was the big glass one. This one is, the fish are not free swimming yet, so it's kind of easier to just drain down. You just use a siphon, drain it down to about an inch or two off the bottom, and then just refill it with conditioned water. And I've done a big water change, and I usually do that after, and that's how I remove the methylene blue. Now, some of you might be wondering, I did get a batch from the strawberry rams, the strawberry rams, and I got a batch of eggs from those. And so I got this, I'm going to show it to you. I got these eggs going. So when the strawberry rams when the eggs come in, they're put into a breeder box. Now, you might ask, well, if they're in a breeder box with all that methylene blue, now what? Well, before they hatch. So if they're going to hatch, I watch for the third day. So on the third day, I know they're going to hatch soon. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of the methylene blue. And you say, well, how do you do that? It is so simple. It is so simple. It is so simple that, watch this trick, okay? Full of methylene blue. I've got fry here. Let me move this out of the way. And I'm going to just get rid of the methylene blue. So you wonder how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a container and I'm going to put water in it. Water. Got water in here, conditioned water. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to reach in. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to put it back. I just removed all of the methylene blue. Simple as that. I hope you caught that trick. Oh man. Let's see if there's any comments. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Oh, it's getting full. Thank you, Sandy. You caught something, but let's take a closer look. She thinks it's getting full. It did rise, but you know what? It's going to stop rising, and I'll show you why. Because there's holes inside that tube, behind that little foam. And so the holes, it goes right into the PVC. And then at the top, we've got a bridge, so there's a tube that goes from one side to the other. And it wants to keep the water level at the same level, because that's what water does. And you see, I'm going to point my finger, and I'm going to show you. There's the water level. So over here, it's going to try to keep the water level right there, right? That's what this tube does. Water level is right here. Water level is right here. But unfortunately, water will never be able to rise higher than this, because as it fills up this side, it will then overflow, because I've got a hole lower than the water level. So that's the water level. But watch this, Sandy. As it goes over here, it's now pouring out. Look at that. It's going right out the tube. So water is flowing through the tube and into the sink. So here's our water. It's just draining just as fast as it's going into the tank. And of course, in my sink, you'll notice it's going out. And there it is. It's just pouring out here, down the sink. So yeah, when I can just leave this like this, it will not get higher than this, because it's now reached where the holes are at the top, and you go inside. When it goes inside, it wants to fill both evenly, and the moment it tries to fill evenly, this side constantly gets drained. So it's draining. So as this side is rising, this side is draining. And that's how it works. It's a simple overflow. I just made it out of PVC. I have them on all my my breeder small gallons, and it really works well. So I hope that worked for you. And here's our eggs. Now I wanted to point out I removed the methylene blue. Notice the ones that are super blue. Those are the infertile eggs, and the methylene blue absorbed into the skin of those particular egg shells, and they turn dark blue like that. But you'll notice there's no fungus on there because the methylene blue, of course, is antifungal. So then what I'm looking at is the blue ones will eventually start fungusing in time, but not any sooner than the time that these guys will hatch, and they'll be stuck. So they'll all hatch. I can shake off the hatchlings, and they'll become wigglers at the bottom of this container, and then I just remove the unhatched eggs with the plate, and that's how easy it is. So it really works well in that case. So I hope that was helpful. We're kind of doing 2 or 3 things at once. Before any more time goes by, I want to take an opportunity to share with you the Plecos that we were talking about earlier. This is the, looks like he's selected a different spot. So there's our boy, a male, long-finned and cistrus, and he's really, really neat, you know? So he's the dad. And in this tank, as you can see, there's some plants. I've got plants. I've got temperature at 79. I've got, this is where I sometimes grow out fish. But in this tank, if you look closely, you will see my royal whiptails. I've got a good half a dozen of them, and they're just sensational. They're nice looking, so nice, and I think they love this tank. They haven't been in it very long, but they seem to be really doing well in it because they love to hang off things. The valve in here just gives them so many little places to hide, and they love to whip their tails. I mean, I guess they call them whiptails for a good reason. Look at this fish. Ooh, that's a real neat looking fish. Now, I didn't buy this fish with the idea I'm going to mass produce them. No, I bought these fish because I like them. I found something that I think is neat. I think it's something that just is worth studying and learning about. And if I get some fry, if I get some breeding activity, great. If I don't, well, that's okay too. That'll be fun. I used to have some... I used to have what they call, look at the way he just kind of whips his tail back and forth. He's waving it. And he's got that long caudal tail. Over there is another one hanging. I think he's looking at that one. That one seems to be hanging off the sponge filter. Let's see if there's some more. I know I have more in here. They've kind of gone into hiding. Here's one over here. See if you can take a look at this one. There's another one. Oh! He's waving to me. Hi, how you doing? Glare is kind of bad. But they're neat looking fish, really. So, what is this fish? This fish is a Loria, very similar to the same whiptails we call the red lizards, but let me give you some information about it. The Loricaridae is the family name, and so Loricaridae is not the species. The species that I have here is the Sterosoma panamensa, or in other words, the royal farewellas. The royal farewellas. I'm going to tell you what I found. What I learned is that the royal farewella is not a true representative of the whiptail catfish genus Farewella. The name suggests so, but that's misleading. Rather, this catfish belongs to the closely related genus Sturasoma, and that's very true because they do look like little sturgeons, don't they? They kind of look like a little sturgeon shape if you kind of see their face. I mean, look at the one up there. Okay, so that's the word stereo is German, which means sturgeon, and soma is Greek, which implies the body. So it has like a sturgeon body. They kind of look like it. So they're very elongated type of fish, and it makes it stand out from other catfish varieties. But I got them because I wanted to have something unusual and something neat, just like the red lizards. I think I have. Oh, here's one, another one here. Look at that, hanging off the glass. Maybe we can get a better look. So we'll let them grow. I hope that they last in here for some time. I think if I keep this tank the way it is, and they will enjoy themselves very much. I am going to remove some of the bushy nose. I have already tried to move some of them, the bushy nose, into other tanks, kind of separating them out because I had too many in here. So that's the reason why. So I have some oddball fish in here. I still have one female. This is a pistogramma. This is an pistogramma female of the Borellii. And sadly, I don't have any adult males. I have a couple juvies that are males that maybe I'll have in a few months. But anyway, that's what that's all about. Let me get a chance to actually review some of the questions that you might have on this live stream. Sorry about that. I covered the camera. That wasn't intended. So yeah, what's the suggestion on a proven pair of rams and angelfish to start spawning again? Well, when you mean, John, that they stop spawning, I got one suggestion that seems to work a lot of the times. Change their tank. If you have another tank, move them. Sometimes whatever it is, if you move them, then simply put, they look over the new situation and they kind of like it. And it makes a big difference. And sometimes if they keep spawning in the same tank, keep them there. Don't move them. It makes no sense to just move them. But if they've stopped and they don't seem to be kicking up again, you may want to do something about that. And that's what happens. Okay, so let's see. How do you know if they're a pair? If that's your question, if they are a pair, if they tend to stick to one another, they tend to keep together, they chase others away, they kind of come up close to one another and kind of like give a little nudge. That shows that, and they're not aggressive towards one another by far compared to other fish, then you know they're pairing off. That's how they do it. Thank you, Sandy. Yes, they're very beautiful. I really like them. And yes, the tank over there is still getting full, but funny thing about that, it's not overflowing. Christopher is in the house. Great. Okay, so I think I've covered all the questions. There is something I wanted to share with you. I have for example, when someone comes and gets a fish, maybe a pair of rams or something, take the time to make up a little fact sheet. I've done this, and so it's a great thing when people take fish from you. It gives you the facts of how to care for them. Here's my fact sheet on rams, and it's like 2 pages, and so I just include this in the purchase. And so when people come and say, hey, I want some fish, it tells you about the degrees. I give them my experience in here, and tell them where to go on my live streams to get more information, because those are the ones that are specific towards breeding these fish. And I think it's a very nice thing to do. If you can manage that, then great. Before we go on, let's see. I want to show you the big surprise this week. Finally, guess who has finally decided not to eat their babies? They have decided not to eat the babies and eggs, and I got a nice huge spawn. So this pair is strange. They seem to be on a cycle. Every fifth spawn, they tend to be good parents. Now, why spawns 1, 2, 3, 4 get eaten, I don't know. Look at the babies on the side. Oh my goodness. She's looking nice. These are blue turquoise pair, and they are gorgeous. Yep. Can't thank enough for the fish keeper that gave me this pair. This is a bonded pair, and as you can see, they're just now getting the fry on their bodies. Now, one of the things I did is I turned off their light fixture, so they always get subdued light compared to the other fish, or what used to be. This is their previous batch, and as you can see, they're looking good. In fact, there was a couple of these in here that I saw. Where are they? There. See, look at the anal fin on some of these. Already starting to get that little marbling green and red. Of course, I'm looking through pretty much a blue light. I would love to get a better light. In fact, one day I will get a nicer light for this tank. For filming, I think is makes a big difference. But yeah, these cheap Chinese lights that I got, Aquanites, they're kind of okay, but they're certainly not sensational. They're definitely not sensational. But these fish, there's about 39, 38 fish in here. They're all about this size. They're all doing very well. They're really looking quite well. So, how are we doing? 10 minutes. Okay. We're going to wrap it up in 10 minutes. But in that time, I want to take an opportunity to make a couple shout-outs. This week, some notable videos I think that everybody should take a moment to do. In fact, I was trying to stick the links to these two videos in my description of this particular live stream, and it turns out I can't do it after I've created the live stream. Now I'm learning that, to do it, I need to take and paste it in beforehand. So it's kind of hard to do because sometimes you don't know what you're going to talk about, but since I kind of know what I'm going to feature in advance, of course, this is going to have to be pasted in right after I stop the live stream, and I'll do that because I've already typed it up. It's all ready to go. I just have to copy paste. So it'll be right in there. But now the first link I want to make mention is Greg Sage's new video that came out, and he does a great job. Another, he's a real down-to-earth person, and he puts out videos that are informative, and I really like that. I think the best live streams out there are the most informative, that you walk away learning something. And he talks about the Ferdins and some live bearers that he specializes in. But I also appreciated, he also features his brine shrimp hatcher, and so take a look, and if it's something that you're interested in, you can get it from him, especially if you're in the United States. Now, the second link will be to Tom at TM Aquatics, because he put out his first live stream this week. If you missed it, I'm really sorry, but make sure you go and see it, because go back onto the live stream. Thank you, Sandy, for posting Greg Sage's post. Yeah, there you go. You can get it going that way. But just to mention a few things, when usually people start live streaming for the first time, they're usually kind of novice at it. But, something about Tom, he just goes right into it, and he's like Mr. Professional. How he does that, I don't know. Well, he must practice a lot, and he did it with his software. He uses OBS software, which I have downloaded, and I've tried a few times, but I haven't figured out how to use it on this phone that I use for my live streams, so it's kind of a... But maybe sometimes I'm going to be adjusting the live stream schedule anyway, because it's great to have a nice live stream, and to have interaction, to answer questions and so forth. But I think too that it might be more quality if I was to spend more time preparing and getting it all prepared for the live stream, and that means maybe less of them. So more quality, higher quality, and maybe less frequently. So I'm thinking about doing live streams twice a month. So maybe the first weekend and the third weekend. So maybe that's the case, or maybe even on a Friday night. I'm not worried about competing against other folks, you know, and they can have their live streams whenever they want. In fact, you know, I know one individual, I will not mention by name, but it's like he's live streaming every day. So if he's live streaming every day, he does have a big following. So great, that's fine. But I'm not retired and I can't watch him every day. So, but another thing that I really learned and appreciated about Tom's live stream is that he taught me things. He taught me things that I didn't think about before. First of all, he introduced me to a ancestral pleco I had never even heard of, and it was beautiful. It was the L519, and I'm like, I want that fish. He wants that fish. I want his likes, of course, are this so similar to mine. It's ridiculous. And so, Tom, if you're out there, thanks for putting me on that. Now everybody's going to want that fish. Maybe you should have found the source first, get them, and then publicly promote them. You hate the price to go up, and then suddenly, you know, you didn't get yours. But anyway. So yeah, he showed me that, and the Wobbin muster fish. It looks like the honeycomb pleco. What a gorgeous fish. If I'm going to select a fish, his thinking about why he would have a fish in his fish room, like in this case, I got the Lorcaeridae, these whiptails, royal whiptails, because I wanted something unique. I wanted something special. I wanted something nice, and if I can spawn them, I won't make enough money because of the size of spawns or the needs I would never make enough money to actually, you know, pay the rent, as it were, right? But how nice to have something a little different. And by the way, the red lizards is very similar to that case. Let's take a look. I'm going to see for the first time. I'm going to look with you. I haven't looked myself to see if we got any babies yet, but in this tank right now is about the time that the egg should be hatching, but I don't know if there are any in this tank. I haven't seen any, and I was hoping that we would see some babies before today's live stream so I could show them to you. But it turns out, wait a minute, what's this? Oh, what's this? Huh, voila. Look at that. Baby red lizard. We got it. Folks, we've got baby red lizards right there. Look at that little puppy. And a worm too, crawling in the background. Oh wow, I am so impressed. Okay, we got babies. This was the best way. The first batch that we did here, there were eggs were being kicked out, so I was afraid I was going to lose them all. And so I ended up putting them in the tumbler, and the fungus ate everything. I lost them all. I learned the best way to take care of these fish is to let Daddy keep them clean. He's with them. He's been with them. He hasn't come out of this cave for a week. And so whammy, you know, I'm just like, this is what to do. But what I learned when I took out the eggs the first time is that they're tough eggs. They're not actually going to be easily punctured, and it's not a problem. But look at this. This is great. It still has a yolk sac, it looks like. So, but I'm going to start putting baby brine shrimp in here. If I can focus on it. Can we get a better shot? Come on. Maybe not. I have to back up a little bit. There. How's that? What a small little guy. He hasn't got any color or anything, but what a small little guy. I am very impressed. How exciting. So you're looking at it with me for the first time, folks. I did not know they came out of the cave. I was hoping to see one. We were blessed at the end. Thank you for staying for the end. You got to see it. There it is. And now what I will do is when the female was with them, I took the other two females out of I took everything out of this tank. I took everything out because I didn't want any predation. I wanted to have a 100% success rate with these red lizards. So I just took out what was in there. I had a couple of green neon tetras and a couple of odds and ends. So I took the females out and I put the one that laid the eggs in here. So she's in here somewhere. She's having, oh, here she is right here. This is the mother. So the mother laid the eggs. She was inside the tube. And then I took the other two and put them in a different tank. So I know which two. They've been hanging out in the back here. There they are behind the heater. So what I'll do is when Dad recuperates after these babies leave, I'll feed him up and then put the two females that have not spawned with him yet back into the tank. Now, the little ones by that point should be also able to fend for themselves and zip around, so I'm not worried about them getting eaten or anything. Now, the nice thing though is what I will see is another female go in, and then as soon as I see a female trap with the dad again, I will remove the other female that didn't trap, put her into her own tank, and then put this one with the one I already did. So I'm going to try to get a spawn from each female and go through the cycle of three different females and get batches that way. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. I'm going to just try doing that. And so this is the time of year when the Loricariidae are going at it, maybe, perhaps so. Thank you so much. Time is up already, and I had so much more to say about Tom's wonderful video. He taught me a lot. He's got a 10% discount on some things. If you watch his video, you can get the discount code for his fish that he has for sale. Great stuff. I mean, one of the things, for example, he mentions is like my experience too. Cories will breed and breed and breed, and then they'll do so well, and then suddenly they stop. And then there will be a long drought of nothing. And that's what I've noticed too with my orange lasers and even the Venezuelan orange Venezuelan cories. So don't know what to say. You know, it's like you got to be patient. You got to wait, and then poof. You know, you're gonna see something later. So when they're ready, they go back into it. So getting set up and having tanks like Tom does is like the way to go. And when they're ready to go back, I think it's time. And so thank you so much, Tom, for that reinforcement that it's not just me. I thought it was like, what am I doing wrong? Couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I would try water changes and nothing. They always say, do a bunch of water changes and your cories will start. Oh well. So that's it for everybody. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for, if you're watching on the replay, say replay crew down below and give me feedback. If you have any further questions, I will surely positively respond to you, because I respond to all inquiries. And thank you so much, everybody. I appreciated the quick live stream this week. It was an opportunity for us to just see a few things. By the way, we're still changing the water over there. So let's see, for everybody to see, water hasn't overflowed yet. How do you like that? Still at high level. But as you can see, the fish are doing fine, and they're getting water change, and they're getting fresh water. The quality is will continue to go up. I will do probably 10, maybe even 10 gallons today, because it was kind of murky. Yeah, next is Malik, Aqua Malik. If you go over, can somebody post Aqua Malik? And when you go over there and you join his live stream, it's going to start up any second. Probably, maybe he's already started. I hope he has. And just let you know you're from FishEZ. So that would be a nice little feature, so he knows that you're coming on over. Okay, everyone? Thank you so much for joining, and appreciated the support and feedback. I've got to get those rams packaged up for their new home, and I'm going to sign off now. And of course, I'm going to do something that I always do, but a little different, because this is what Mr. Z said. What you got to do is you got to take your hand, he says. This is what you got to do. You got to say, take care, everyone, and above all, Keep it real.